They say empaths are gentle souls, the healers, the listeners, the ones who absorb the pain of others so nobody else has to. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Even the kindest hearts have a breaking point. Even the softest souls carry shadows. And when an empath finally snaps, when years of silence, sacrifice, and suffering explode into the open, the aftermath is nothing short of terrifying. Because the same depth that allows an empath to feel love also allows them to unleash a storm unlike anything you've seen before. Think about it. Empaths spend their lives tuning into others. They carry the unspoken weight of friends, family, lovers, even strangers. They forgive. They excuse. They put others first. But inside, pressure builds. Every ignored boundary, every manipulative relationship, every time they're told, you're too sensitive, while silently breaking inside. Jung taught us that what we repress does not disappear. It gathers power in the unconscious. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. For empaths, the shadow is born in this repression. They bury their anger, their resentment, their unmet needs. They wear the mask of peace while a storm brews behind their eyes. And one day, something small, an insult, a betrayal, a dismissal, becomes the final straw. The mask cracks, the dam bursts, and the empath snaps. What happens next? That's where things get terrifying. The quiet withdrawal. The first sign is silence. An empath who has snapped may not scream or fight. They simply withdraw. No more calls. No more texts. No more listening ear. It seems calm, but it's deadly. Because when an empath walks away, they're not just leaving the relationship. They're reclaiming years of stolen energy. And for those who depended on their endless giving, that silence is terrifying. The flood of truth. Sometimes the snap comes as an explosion, a torrent of words that have been buried for years. Every manipulation, every lie, every hidden wound, suddenly exposed with brutal honesty. It's shocking because empaths are known for kindness. But when their shadow takes the microphone, their words cut with surgical precision. They don't just argue. They reveal. They hold up a mirror to the abuser's soul. And for the one on the receiving end, it's unbearable. Because nobody sees you clearer than the empath you underestimated. The shadow unleashed. Here's the darkest part. When empaths snap, they don't just release anger. They unleash their shadow. Jung described the shadow as the hidden, repressed side of the self. The anger, selfishness, and rage we pretend doesn't exist. For most people, the shadow seeps out in small ways. But for empaths, who have spent years repressing it, the shadow erupts like a volcano. The aftermath is terrifying because it's not just anger. It's every suppressed emotion, every unspoken truth, every scar they've carried in silence, all erupting at once. And the world that once saw them as too sensitive suddenly sees them as unstoppable. The scorched earth. Empaths give chance after chance. But once they're done, they're done. When an empath snaps, they cut ties completely. No second chances. No looking back. It's like scorched earth. Every bridge burned, every bond severed. Not out of cruelty, but out of survival. And those left behind often don't realize until it's too late. The person they thought would always be there is gone forever. So what's the lesson here? It's not that empaths should fear their shadow. It's that they must learn to integrate it. Jung believed the path to wholeness is not to deny the shadow, but to bring it into consciousness. He wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." For empaths, this means acknowledging anger before it becomes rage, setting boundaries before resentment builds, speaking truth before silence hardens into withdrawal. Because when the empath integrates their shadow, something beautiful happens. They stop being doormats. They stop attracting narcissists and manipulators. They stop mistaking self-sacrifice for love. They become powerful, not because they abandon their empathy, but because they balance it with strength. An empowered empath is not someone who never snaps. It's someone who no longer needs to. They know their worth. They protect their energy. They give love freely, but not at the cost of themselves. And that balance, that union of light and shadow, is what Jung called individuation, the journey to becoming whole. So if you're an empath, hear this. You're not weak. You're not too sensitive. You are powerful, so powerful, in fact, that people fear the moment you remember who you are. Yes, when an empath finally snaps, the aftermath is terrifying. But it should never have to reach that point. Don't wait for the dam to break. Honor your feelings. Set boundaries. Embrace your shadow. Because your empathy is a gift, but it was never meant to be a prison. And if someone has ever made you feel guilty for shining, for caring, for loving deeply, remember this. Your heart is not the problem. Their inability to honor it is. So protect your soul. Walk away when you must. And never apologize for finally choosing yourself. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs this reminder. Because too many empaths are still carrying storms in silence, when they were born to stand in their power.